Looks good. I'm not writing anything to Heather, but she's smart enough to know.
Today was important, but I got to tell you, the last 30 years were a slow buildup to get us to tonight. And think about where it came from. You got to think about where this came from. Why did we need domestic partnership laws? Because gay men with HIV and AIDS were dying in 1984 and were being denied hospital visitation, being denied the right to inheritance, being denied the right to their children, because lesbian couples were losing their kids in custody battles, because Karen Thompson, Sharon Kowalski were separated by outside families. Because of those issues, we decided to create a body of law to protect ourselves. Something called domestic partnership that once was considered radical is now the mainstream. It was the predecessor to marriage. So we are very happy about marriage. We are very happy that the Federal Appeals Court struck down Proposition 8. But God bless the people of the city of West Hollywood and our LGBT community for setting this course 27 years ago. West Hollywood, you should be so proud. You should be so proud. They call us vain and they call us shallow and they call us beautiful, and yes, we are. But we're also trendsetters, and we also set the stage for this decision today.
I have been here a long time, and tonight feels like coming home. It feels like coming home because I read that opinion today. And when I came out in 1973, there were no organizations. There was only a small group of brave people led by Morris Kite that started a center. Yes. And from Morris came the first political action committee in the United States dedicated to LGBT equality. Sometimes people say we stand on the backs of our heroes. But for me, I walk today with those heroes. Domestic partnership, when we passed it in 2003, and it went into effect in 2004, we thought we had the world. And then came marriage. And people in our own community said, don't rock the boat. But look what happens when you rock the boat. And the only reason that worked was because of you. Because of everybody.
While we should take time to celebrate this huge advancement for gay rights in our country, we must also make sure to recognize one of our most important notions to gain from today's victory is that there is promise and that there is hope, and with enough perseverance and patience, we can achieve equal rights that we deserve across the board for everyone. Each of us needs to focus our efforts on figuring out what we can do as individuals to contribute to the movement in our own way. Everybody has their own way of speaking out, and we have to celebrate those differences and encourage people to bring out their own personal talents to the table. I'm not a lobbyist, and I was never an activist in the years leading up to Proposition 8, but I knew how to take photos, and I knew I wanted to speak out, so taking no-hate photos became my way of raising awareness. That's the thing about activism. It speaks to everyone in different ways. And there are so many different ways you can get involved, so don't let anyone define your activism. Thank you.
The right to marry the person you love is inevitable, and equality for our community is inevitable. And this decision brings us many steps closer. It's truly a thrilling day to be a Californian, to be a member of the wonderful LGBT community of California and of our country, and especially thrilling to be a gay rights lawyer in California. And as a lawyer, I have to read you a couple parts of the opinion. What the Ninth Circuit decided today, and I quote, was, "The people may not employ the initiative power to single out a disfavored group for unequal treatment and strip them without a legitimate justification of a right as important as the right to marry." The court's decision goes on to the most evil and most constitutionally flawed aspect of Proposition 8. Quote, "Proposition 8 serves no purpose and has no effect other than to lessen the status and human dignity of gays and lesbians in California." And to officially reclassify their relationship and families as inferior to opposite-sex couples. And as the court explained, the Constitution simply does not allow for laws of this sort. In deciding the case more narrowly than whether we had a fundamental right to marry or whether all states needed to let same-sex couples marry, but in looking specifically to what had happened in California, the Ninth Circuit today made its decision much less likely to be heard or overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court. Now, we don't know that for sure, but it's definitely less likely. And while that means that we won't immediately have marriage equality in all states, it does mean, I believe, that same-sex couples in California, our nation's most populous state, are likely to soon to be able to marry again, perhaps as soon as later this year. Ultimately, today's decision decides a critically important constitutional principle for our nation: that the people of a state may not strip a group of a right or benefit that they had previously enjoyed on terms of equality with all others in the state without having at least a legitimate government reason for doing so. That reason cannot simply be not liking us. It cannot simply be wanting to believe that we or our relationships deserve to be treated with less dignity than those of straight people and theirs. That is what the barest contours of equal protection mean. And I am ready to march and celebrate that simple principle has been recognized by a federal appellate court, the first federal appellate court ever to reach such a decision in a marriage case.
What do you guys want? Equality! Equality! Now! Now! what she sounds like.